He's battling it out with the courts, and we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks under Majority Leader Thune and if they actually get this legislation passed. James Rosen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly.
Our political panel joins us now, author of Race to Save America and CEO of VetCom, Kate Monroe, along with Democratic strategist Nick Smith. Kate, I mean, the president just wants clean and fair elections. Do you think he's going to get them by the midterms when we have both chambers of Congress, the Senate as well as the House?
I think if he presses for an appeal, he has a good shot at it. I think what people need to keep in mind is if you want to run some cockamamie nonsense voter schedule and laws in your own state, by all means, if that's what your voters want to vote for, then fine. But federally, all 50 states' voters and citizens rely on a free and fair election. So I think that a middle ground is we make, federal law and legislation that governs, House, Senate, and the president. And if you want to run your crazy train in your own state like we do here in California, by all means do so. I hope that he is successful before the midterms for sure.
Nick, we are seeing live shots of the president right now. He is in Michigan taking a tour of the General Motors facility there. He is going to be touting his economic success in the state. As you know, he did win Michigan. Democrats right now are embroiled in a fight, an ideological fight amongst themselves between the DSA candidates and more establishment candidates. I mean, what do you think of their chances of maintaining Michigan, or could this be a Republican flip?
Oh, I mean, in terms of the Michigan situation, it is true that VP Harris lost the state by a couple of 100,000 votes, I think it was. And I think that came down to the Israel policy, et cetera. But I want to touch on the voting issue. I think the voting issue, this is preposterous that the president is, trying to take power from the states in terms of elections. The Constitution is very clear. States have the ultimate power to decide election rules. So, yes, he can appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court and he has a chance of winning. But again, the Constitution is very clear. So in terms of the elections in Michigan, I think Dems have a shot. In terms of the voting stuff, it's preposterous.
Well, we will see where everything goes in Congress. As I mentioned, the House passed it out of their ranks. They're just waiting on the Senate to act. The Senate has 2 weeks before they go on vacation. Kate, I wanted to talk to you about the midterms in general. It's essential that the Republicans hold both the Senate and the House so that President Trump won't be impeached. We know if Democrats win and take the majorities, that'll be the first thing on their agenda. But there was an article in the New York Times over the weekend that showed just how fragmented and in disarray the DNC is. Right now, being run under Ken Martin, it's $2 million in debt. That is compared to the RNC, which has $130 million cash on hand. This looks good because the narrative going into this midterm is that there's going to be a blue wave. But with the infighting within the Democratic Party, the fact that they haven't been able to run to fundraise at the national level and Republicans being in good standing, I mean, this looks pretty good, doesn't it?
I do think it looks good, but it looks good as long as they spend some of that $130 million. You can't just let it sit in your coffers. It's good to think that every single America knows the good word and it gets out. It just doesn't. They're going to have to run ads. They're going to have to do a ton of stuff on social media to basically beat the drum of what are they bringing to the table. I think what the Democrats are running into is the Democrat Socialists of America are catching the ear of many young voters. They're saying a lot of things that are resonating. Whether they're good or bad is not relevant. And it's hard to fundraise, when everything is so bifurcated. So I do hope that we spend some of that $130 million. I hope that we lean in and get shoulder to shoulder with no light between us. And then if we do that, we have a shot at keeping them both.
Nick, what do you make of the problems within the DNC, Ken Martin's leadership, and the fact that the National Party is $2 million in debt right now?
I actually think that the DNC has been a step behind for some years. This is no new problem. I think this is the same on the Republican side. They were saved by, frankly, President Trump. I think what the DNC has to do is work with candidates and find clear messaging and show results. So to your point about DSA candidates, the reason why they're rising in places like New York, where I live, and other places, is because the wider party has had some recent issues showing results. Historically, the party has had many achievements when it comes to minimum wages, et cetera. So the party has to just kind of reset.
All right, Kate Monroe, Nick Smith, thank you both for stopping by. I appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.